Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Carl Hinder, business coach with Salon Help. This week we are running QCTV, 8:30 p.m. this Wednesday and every Wednesday night in 2020. I'm here to help you answer questions that you are having with your business. Any issues, any problems that you're having with developing your business or developing yourself. Laura is on board. Laura, can you just put a thumbs up if you can hear me, please, so that we're progressing well tonight. That'll be fabulous. And Gillian is on board as well. So tonight, I'm going to run QCTV like I do every single Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. I'm here to help you solve your business problems, give you some direction, some inspiration, or anything else that you need to do. Now, if you have big problems, maybe this is not the right forum for it. Maybe you want to contact me straight after the show and I can help you in more detail. Laura's on board. Gillian Smith is on board. Maria is on board. Maria, we've spent some time talking this evening. And Ellie has joined me. Thank you, Ellie. I need to speak to you separately, Ellie, and quite soon, maybe tomorrow. Donna is on board and Laura has just invited Andrew along. Can someone just give me the thumbs up and say that you can hear me nice and clear? So, tonight, what I want to ask you to do first of all, can I ask you to make sure that you're following me on this page? Can I ask you to hit the bell? Who have we got here? Andrew. Oh, Andrew's on board. Well done, Andrew. Hit the bell to make sure that you're notified when I do go live, which is definitely on a Wednesday night, but sometimes I have other important information that I put out from time to time. Michael Pudney is on board. Michael, it's great to chat to you again. We will talk after the show, I am sure. Now, tonight, we take on anything that you want to talk about. What is it, guys, that is bothering you in your business? What is stopping you from hitting the heights that you want to hit? Now, I know what is really stopping a lot of you, and for a lot of you, it's just you. Okay, it's just you stopping yourself, finding the right pathways. But what do you feel is stopping you? What is blocking you from progressing? Ellie, hello, Carl. Great. Victoria's on board, and Lisa is also on board. Listen, we get a good group quite early. It normally takes a little while for this to warm up. I guess there must be no football on the TV or anything like that. Now, you can ask anything you want, as always, and I will do my utmost to make sure you get the answers that you need so you can change yourself and your business. But last night we did I thought it was great anyway, and the feedback was pretty good, to be honest with you, a webinar on pricing. And we're not going to talk about that, but I'm going to take a little piece of that webinar from last night. And we talked about the type of business that some of you might be running. Now, it might not be completely your fault, but if you are a salon owner and you're not taking out of this business a whole wad of cash every week or every month and definitely every year, are you running the right type of business? This is what I'm going to talk to you tonight. Are you right, or are you just running maybe a hobby or what I call a charity or a vanity project? Are you running it for the charity of your staff and your customers? Or are you running for the vanity of saying that you are a salon owner, that you are the best, the poshest, the smartest, the fastest, okay, the busiest in town, but at the end of the day, you're not taking any of that home? So if you're one of them, I want to hear from you tonight. I want to discuss with you, why are you doing that? And I want to make sure that I help you tonight to start to change that. Please, guys, if you're working your socks off, you've got to end up with that in your pocket. Okay, so who have we got? Michelle Collins on board. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining me this evening. And Sally Ann is here as well. Hope you're well, Sally. I know I've been keeping you guys really, really busy. I guess you can all hear me because I haven't got any complaints at all. Okay, so what questions, what problems have you got, guys? Let's talk about this issue. Are you a salon owner that doesn't take home any money at all? Are you a salon owner only taking home a small amount of money? Okay. Are you living off other people in your household? Is your wife or your husband subsidizing, we talked about this last night, your lifestyle? Is your business continuing to survive because people are contributing to your business, either financially, Have you got someone who's maybe paid a wage bill, someone who has paid a VAT bill? Maybe someone's just bought furniture for your salon. Maybe they've just paid for it to be painted or decorated. Or have you even got people coming into the salon? Okay, maybe your brother, mother, father, sister putting down new floors for you, or putting in electrics for you, or whatever it is. You got to start thinking, guys, are other people and yourself subsidizing your business, which means you're not getting any money out of this business. Okay, so what we got here, Chris Finch is on board. Good evening, Chris. Thank you for joining me again. And David Horton. Good evening, David. And Chris Finch. Okay, hello. So what questions have you got, guys? I'm here to help you. Okay, I will help you with anything that you want to. And the more questions you ask, the better. And please, can we invite some more people? I want this channel to grow. I want to be here to help you. I want to be here every Wednesday night this year. Now, you can put messages up if you're the shy type, or you can phone in 07931 518 642. You can phone in every Wednesday night. This is meant to be a phone-in show, guys, but you're also shy. Let me write that up for you. If you want to phone in, you can. 07931 518 642. You can phone. Where did I go? You can phone that number at any time. And Bev Steele. Oh, thank you, Bev. Thank you for joining me. I haven't caught up with you for a little while. I hope everything is well. So if you want to phone in, you can phone in. Everybody will be able to hear your answers, so your questions and my answers. But if you want to put a question up, put a question. So that's enough chit, chat. So let's start. Are you running a business that is not allowing you to take money home? And let's talk about how this is happening. So are you a salon owner who is working in your salon, maybe say 40 hours a week, and you're taking home maybe nothing? Maybe you're only taking home £10. Maybe you're only taking home £50. Maybe you're only taking home £100. Okay. What I want you to think about is this. Do you genuinely think that this is a real, genuine business? And the reason I'm asking you that, I don't want to insult any of you, because I know you're all going through the processes of having a business, aren't you? You're all getting up in the mornings and you're training your staff and you're paying accountants, and well, you're also not paying for a coach, otherwise you wouldn't be in that situation. But what you are doing is you're subsidizing your business. You're surviving on a false basis, because if I was to take you out and replace you with someone as good, I know I'd have to pay them 400, 500, 600, 700 pounds a week. And in which case, your business would do one of two things. It would either have to grow to pay this stylist, or you would close. Okay? When I say stylist, therapist, technician, okay, whatever you want to call yourself. So are you one of those people? Do you want me to talk about that tonight? Do you want me to try and get to the bottom of why that's happening to you? Leslie is on board, and Richard McCabe. Good evening, Richard. This is probably something that you come across all the time, and you're super, super familiar with people subsidizing their own businesses and not taking any money home. And I don't know about you, but it's an absolute killer for me. So listen, guys, are you that person? You've all gone quiet on me tonight. Come on, let's have some questions on you. Are you that person who is subsidizing your business? Are you the salon owner who's not taking on the money that you rightly deserve? Now, did this start because when you started your business, you do what a lot of us do. A lot of us did. When we started, we thought, we used this didn't we? This psychology. We said, I'm not going to take any money out of this business. I want to reinvest everything. Okay, so we started off the first couple of weeks, don't we? Like, I won't take it out. I don't need it. I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to put it in for marketing. Okay, I'm going to put it in to pay the bills. Maybe I got VAT, or maybe I got an accountant or something like that. If you started off like that, then what you probably did was, I'll just do it for a few weeks, and then you did it for a few months. And some of you have done it for a few years. Now, in reality, it means that your business is operating at a loss. Because like I said, if I got to replace you with another stylist, therapist, technician, as soon as I put that person in there, your profitability is absolutely falling out the bottom. And we know in the UK that we've got about 70% of salons not making a profit. We know we've got about 70% of salons running at break even or at a loss. And I'm just talking about the legal operations. So don't be embarrassed if you are one of these salons, jump up tonight, say something, because I'd love to help you. Okay, Ellie's on board. Stephen Hunter, Paulie and Angie's. Fair play, Ellie. Thank you very much, Ellie. You're bringing everyone on board. That's great. Gillian Smith says, hi, Carl. I'm one of those, as I'm still building my clients, as I've only been back in Wales 2 years and been open 6 months. It's growing slowly. Wish it would grow quicker so I can earn a decent living. Gillian, you are prime then. I didn't realize it'd been that long. So you are a prime person for having good reason for doing what you did, especially in the first few weeks, in the first month. But you're 6 months in, and being in Wales for 2 years doesn't matter. I worked out of Wales for 20 years. I didn't wait 6 months or 2 years to become a local, if you like. You have got to address that really, really, really quickly. And I know a little bit about your operation, and I know that part of your operation issues for you personally, Gillian, is that A, you're not charging enough, guarantee, because I know your location, I know your area, I know absolutely everything about that area. But also, you may not be providing the types of services that would enable you to actually have a higher income. So I know, for example, you don't offer, as far as I know, maybe higher end shaving, which would give you a combination with your men's cutting. So you're a prime example. And Gillian, I can tell you now, the bad news is here. If you haven't managed it in 6 months and you haven't changed anything, there's no good reason for you to actually be any better off in another month's time or 2 months' time or 6 months' time. You've got to be looking at the numbers coming into your business. You've got to look at whether it's worth employing someone. You've got to be looking at your marketing. I'm not that far from you, and I haven't actually seen any marketing apart from the odd social media ad. So you've got to sit down, whether it's with me or with someone who can direct you for a few hours, and come up with a plan of how do you pay yourself something. It's a crazy situation. I don't mean something like that £10. I couldn't replace you, Gillian, for £100 a week. It's absolutely impossible. So if you want to talk about it, Gillian, put some more questions up on here, or please invite me over and we'll have a chat through things. Okay, so Gillian's on board. Louise Harper is on board. Thank you, Louise, for joining me tonight. Ellie, I reinvest. Okay, yeah, head in hands. I reinvest. And this is fine. When you're starting off, it's a very magnanimous thing to say and to do. I'm going to reinvest. But what you have to do is generate enough money that you reinvest, first of all, in yourself. Do you know, this won't last. It won't last for you morally. It won't last for you psychologically. It won't last for your family. If your wife or husband, partner is subsidizing your business, now they could be subsidizing it in many ways, but I'm talking financially, it's not going to last. It's going to mean that it's going to put pressure on that relationship. And whilst they may be very, very happy for you to go to work and enjoy the environment of a beautiful salon, okay, and have the kudos of being a business owner, when they are putting all the food on the table and they are paying all the bills and they're paying for all the cars and they're paying for all the holidays, trust me, your relationship isn't as strong as it would be if you weren't running this charity or vanity project. I don't say that with insult. I say it with the best of intentions, because it's a very good and charitable thing to want to do to make sure that your customers are looked after and your staff are looked after. But the first person is to look after yourself. You know, it's a bit like that airplane, isn't it? If you've been in an airplane, there's those pop-down maskings, and there's a sign, isn't it? It says, before, if there's a problem, pull this down. But put it on your face first. Save yourself. Get yourself in a good condition before you start saving other people, before you start saving people sat next to you. And that's what it's like in your business. You've got to save yourself first. You've got to reward yourself. You put your own personal structures in place before you go off and start making sure that your customers are subsidized and your staff are subsidized. Start thinking about yourselves, guys. You're playing at business. It's not real. And so I think this is widely accepted that something like 3 out of 5 salons in the UK, at least, are shut in 5 years, and about 8 out of 10 in 10 years in the UK. And they are. You might want to disagree with that and think, oh, my high street, they never shut. Only one shut in the last 5 years. Trust me, they are changing legal entity right, left, and center. People are jumping from not self-employed, from limited to sole trader to partnerships. They're handing over leases to family. Parents are handing down businesses that are not really always functioning properly to family. Trust me, that figure of 8 out of 10 is pretty damn accurate. And you're going to be one of those people unless you're setting your revenues correctly and rewarding yourself. Okay. Donna's, hi Donna, I haven't caught, we didn't catch up. Donna, message me tomorrow. You and I need a private conversation. Great. Hi Richard, yes, you're correct. If they don't pay themselves a wage, they're acutely hurting their business. The best advice I got 20 years ago was pay yourself first, and that way you'll know when your salon can really afford another member of staff. If anybody on here doesn't know Richard, Richard is a top international coach, and what he's saying is absolutely spot on. We agree that you have to reward yourself first, and you can't make it any clearer than that, really, can you? If you can't afford yourself, then you really can't afford the next member of staff. So thank you, Richard. That's awesome. Ellie, but I do take a wage. Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about making £10,000 profit and ripping it all out. I'm talking take out a sensible amount, build your profitability, and then your profitability is used for a number of things. And part of it should be used for you. Okay, because your profit is the bit that it's your reward for risk, isn't it? I don't think your team understand. I don't think you understand. Ellie, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about all managers and owners, sorry. I don't think you understand that the profit is your reward, okay, for all the risk you've taken in running this business, for all the many hundreds of hours you've spent on it, all the time you spend watching me on here, all the time that, it's your reward. When you put your house on the market, when you add a loan in your own name, you have to be rewarded for that risk. So great, Ellie, yes, take a wage, but that's just the start. People are not taking a wage in the first place, and they definitely are not moving to the next stage of taking some profitability out. Donna, we must reinvest everything into the business, but we have had this discussion, so I think differently about the tax man. Okay, Donna, you're in a very different situation. I don't know everyone's business on here, but you do reinvest really, really well, and you're in a position where you're able to take out as much as you need, okay? So you're not in the position of having a vanity project, definitely not. You haven't got a charity project, definitely not. You're not running a hobby, definitely not. I think you're someone who enjoys their business, and you enjoy running a business, and you deserve all the rewards you get. So the finances and the profit are there in your business. You're the opposite of the person that I'm trying to help tonight. But in saying that, it would be easy to fall into that category. And I know as an example that you've got someone that helps you really, really closely with your business, with DIY and development. He won't like it, would he, if I say DIY, but he helps with property development. Now, if he wasn't getting paid, then that would be wrong as well, because he does such a huge amount of work, he would in effect be subsidizing your business. Gillian, great, thank you. Joe Murphy, thank you for joining me. Jack Robinson, I haven't talked to you in a long, long while. We must connect this summer, okay? We're both going to be old men if we don't talk quite soon. Chris, hi Carl. We discovered our break-even figure today thanks to your new software. We are struggling to implement tiered pricing across services because of a high break-even. I didn't ask you to do tiered pricing unless we're talking about something different. I don't want tiered pricing. We just want one price for your services. Talk to me after, Chris, if that sounds something that we haven't agreed on. One price for each of your services. Cheryl's on board. Cheryl's, good evening, Cheryl. Thank you for joining me. Okay, who have we got here? Maria Worley. Okay, I'm a home-based beauty salon, but also work part-time and do the odd bit of assessing to make sure there's other coming in as income. Okay, and pay myself a minimum wage at the moment from business. I started back up last year and now wanting to concentrate more on the business. I did have a loss this year, but I also put all capital in from the redundancy. Hopefully next year be better. Okay, so Again, I don't think that's an unfair strategy. I don't think it's an unrealistic thing to do. You have a pot of money, you have a strategy where you start your business, and you have a second income flow. But it has to be very, very, very short term, and you must be able to know when that's going to stop. So I wouldn't, when people start talking about next year, I'm going to make sure we've got, did you say that? Hopefully next year. That is the buzzword that frightens the life out of me, Maria. Hopefully. Anybody on here that hopefully thinks they are going to make a profit next year isn't. Anybody who hopefully thinks that they're going to move house next year, they aren't. Anybody who hopefully thinks they are going to, I don't know, become really smart and clever and get a degree next year isn't. Whatever you hopefully think, it's not going to happen. Okay? What you hopefully go and do is what is going to happen. So in your case, Maria, you need a plan. Okay, you don't maybe not need a business coach in your particular situation, although I'm always happy to try and help. What you need is a very small plan to say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z in X, Y, and Z time, and I'm going to achieve this income, and that means this will be the result. Okay, so hopefully that's not too critical of you personally, but what I want to try and say is you must not base your business on hope. It must be on structure, strategy. Okay, come back to me, Maria, if you have something else saying that and you don't agree with me. I don't mind, guys. You don't have to agree with me on your. This is not the Carl Hinder agreeing show. This is the QCTV Salon Help channel, 1 hour a week. I'm here to help you. I'm not coaching you. This is not coaching. It's me shouting at the screen as fast as I can for 1 hour. I just want to give you some thought. I just want you to wake up tomorrow morning and think, Carl said, I can't hope anymore. I got to go and do. I just want you to wake up tomorrow and say, this is not a charity project. This is my business. I'm going to go and change it. I want Jill to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to come up with a few things that make sure that I've got a damn good wage coming out of here, and then I'm working on profitability. That's what this channel's for, is to say, look, change direction, get inspired, do something, okay? Above all, do something. Okay, what have we got over here? Louise Harper, haven't set up 3 weeks ago. This is all really good advice. Louise Harper, I did see your businesses flashing past on social media. Look, if you are in that situation, Louise, 3 weeks ago you decided I'm going to reinvest anything. I'm not going to take anything out for a few weeks. Look, I don't think anybody would jump on your case for that. But I think when you move into your second month, and then you move into your third month, and then you're in your fourth month, and you're in your 10th year, you know it's going wrong. So can I say why this happens so often? Now it's nearly 9 o'clock. I've got to take a quick drink. Okay. The reason this happens in the early days of businesses, Louise, I can't speak for you, so I'm speaking to everyone. The reason this happens on the early days of businesses is this. We decide that on the 1st of April this year, we are going to open a new hair salon, all right? And we all go off and get our furniture, and we maybe even get a member of staff, and we get it painted, and we get our signage put up, and then we go. And then what you do is you message me, email me, and Richard and the other coaches on you are probably the same, a month or 2 months or 3 months later, and say, oh, I'm struggling to make some money. You know you're open on the 1st of April. What have you been doing for the last 2-3 months? Where is your marketing from 2 months ago? Says, awesome salon opening on the 1st of April. Yeah. Open evenings for the month running up to it, where you're walking people around, providing it's not a building site, of course. Where is your opening events for the first week? Where is your marketing plan for the first 6 or 12 months that tells you every day we're going to be doing this? This is your problem, guys. Is we digress in a bit here, but it's to do with why we start off thinking so small. Yeah, we are too organic. Okay, organic growth doesn't work for everyone. You have got to manufacture growth. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go as fast as you can so you can't control the business, but you have to go a lot faster than organic. And do you know what organic means, really? It means waiting. Okay, organic is just like, well, we'll wait, and if opportunity arises, then we'll employ a new member of staff, and hopefully we'll get more customers than we need, and hopefully I've hit the right price. Okay, we're not talking about pricing tonight because we did a whole webinar on that last night. So Louise or anyone else who's opening a salon, who's opened one recently or opened a business, it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, the months running up to your opening, is the time you start building your audience. It's when you get your exposure. It's when you start building your brand. Okay, so people shouldn't just drive down the high street and go, oh, look, there's a new salon just opened. They should be waiting for it. They should be excited. Haven't you seen this with supermarkets? Everybody knows, and I know it's different because they're massive. Everybody knows that there's a supermarket coming to town, don't they? They know Waitrose or Sainsbury's is going to be built in 2 years' time because they announce it. They put banners up. They put signs on the wall saying new, fresh supermarket, all that. Anyway, listen, guys, you know what I'm talking about. Market and get open, and then make sure you're strong marketing straight away. Don't go into this organic slouch that you're going on. Go into this absolute deliberate growth pattern and set it for yourself. No more wishing, no more hoping, guys. Let's do more doing. Okay, what we got? I got loads of messages tonight. I'm going to be busy tonight. Okay, Lena's on board. Long time no see, Lena, but I will catch you around the country this year, hopefully in the exhibitions and that sort of stuff. Where's all my messages gone, guys? You was doing so well on me. Okay, Maria's, I know I don't mean hopefully, I mean determined. I use that a lot. Well, that is a spectrum. That's different ends of the spectrum. I mean, determined. Now, let me tell you about determined. Do you know the one thing that you need in business? What do you think it is? Give me one thing that you think you need to be successful in business. Unfortunately, I can't give you that much time because there's a 30-second delay on here from me speaking to you actually answering, and that's a Facebook issue. The one thing, there's only one thing you actually need. It's not even money. It's not capital, okay? It's not luck. The one thing you need in business is determination. It's commitment, actually, not even determination, but I think that's a good variation on the theme, Maria. You need commitment. When you are committed to actually grow in your business, when you're committed, you know, this is true of recruitment. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Recruitment in this country, in the UK, and I don't think it's much better in the USA, where I got some clients, or New Zealand, or even Australia, if Richard's still on board. It is a nightmare, but why is it that I can go to a town and work with a salon that has no recruitment issues, but I can come on this board an hour later and see another 6 salons going, oh, it's terrible, can't get any, life's shocking. Why is that? And it's because the person that I've gone to is absolutely committed to making that business success. They will get those members of staff from somewhere. They will bring them in themselves. They'll train them themselves from scratch. They'll go and headhunt them. I know you guys don't like that, whatever your personal views are. They will make sure that they got staff in that salon and they are successful. I'm very, very lucky as a coach. I usually get very successful businesses and then have the chance, if you like, the opportunity, and I thank you all, to make them even more successful. And that's because that kind of owner is already got in their mind, they're committed to the work. Now, committed doesn't mean standing on the back of a chair, guys, for 60 hours a week. That's not committed. Okay, that's just dedicated to cutting hair or dedicated to doing nails. And to be honest with you, you're never going to make it as a salon owner all the time. You stood on the back of that chair 24/7. It's not going to happen. Gillian says, marketing is definitely not something I don't know much about, so we need to set a meeting, please. I think you mean you don't know much about marketing. Okay, look, marketing is very simple in a way, but I'm not going to do a marketing session on you tonight. But let me tell you something about marketing, and let me tell you something about the actions you need to be taking. The one thing on marketing that nearly all of you get wrong is this. You usually message me and say, should I use social media, Carl? The answer is yes, okay? Should I only use social media? The answer is definitely not. What you need is 2 things. You need a wide spectrum of marketing, and then it must be targeted at your target market, your target client. Okay, so we've got to identify who this marketing has got to go to. There's a third thing though. When you're doing marketing, let's say, I'm going to make it just simple for leaflets because not everybody likes them, they don't always work. But let's say we know that for every 100 leaflets we post out, we hand out, we're going to get 1 client. Therefore, we know for every 1,000 we're going to get 10. So what I'm saying to you is, why are you handing out 1,000 leaflets knowing you're only going to get 10 clients? All right, the amount of work involved in that is probably not proportionate unless you can get these clients to keep visiting you. So What I would say is don't do a leaflet drop for 1,000 leaflets. Do a leaflet drop for 100,000 leaflets. Okay, for 200,000 leaflets. When you go on social media and you're targeting, don't spend $5 on targeting them. Spend $50 on targeting them. Don't post once a day. Post 3 times a day or 5 times a day. Okay, got to make sure this is right because you don't want to saturate your newsfeed and that sort of stuff. What I'm saying is on marketing, when I say to you guys have an open evening, I don't mean 1 week before Christmas. I mean every month. Why not twice a month? And in fact, let's have an open evening and let's have a coffee morning. You're not doing enough, guys. And that's the problem with your business. When you're trying to compete with other people in your area, you need to outstrip them, and you need to outstrip them with commitment. You need to outstrip them with energy and enthusiasm, and you need to be bigger. You need to do all the things that they're not prepared to do. And we know they're not prepared to do them because they don't do them and they close in 5 years. Right. Okay. Well, what have we got here? Lena is definitely okay. Andrew, it was a great webinar. Good to build on the QCTV episode. It was. We did a great, I keep saying great, it's self-praise, but thank you, Andrew. We did do a very good webinar last night. Those of you that missed it, I am going to rerun it in the next few weeks. It's all about pricing in your business, but it's not about just about your prices need to go from here to here. It's about correct pricing. I hear so much about everyone being told, put your prices up. Well, that's easy to say, isn't it? And sometimes you go to a salon and their prices don't really need to go up. Sometimes they just need adjusting. Sometimes they need to maybe adjust the booking times, or they need a tiered pricing for their staffing, or they just, it's about correct pricing. So I'm going to run it again, but it'll be in a few weeks' time. I don't think there's much to change in there, and I'm going to shorten it a little bit. It was about an hour and a half, I think. We'll try and get that down to an hour because I know you guys have got a lot to do. Okay, Lena, Clay, Jubby's on, Oz is on board. Hi, Carl. Thanks for sharing the information about the 3 months running up to the shop opening. I was thinking that as well, and it's great to see you confirming it. As someone who's setting up, what are the best strategies outside of early marketing to use? Sorry, okay, you got big messages, Oz. To use to ensure profitability, to avoid it turning into a hobby-style business. Charity project specifically. If you had to choose just 3 ways to improve profitability in the majority of salons that you see which you don't do so well, what would you do? Okay, so Oz, you're putting me on the spot a bit here. So off the top of my head, I would say the number one thing you got to have for your business, this is not to do with profitability directly. First thing you got to have for your business is structures. Okay, so you got to have some kind of blueprint. You got to have some sort of system, some sort of customer flow, some sort of communication system for you and your team. So the first thing you want to build is structures. So whatever we're asking people to do would be structures. Okay, so maybe there's 4 things here that I would work on really quickly. The first thing I would make sure that my business had would be absolute correct pricing, because if your pricing is not right, if your pricing is out by a pound, you are going to lose money on every single client forever. And we would be trying to flood these places with more and more and more clients. Sometimes that means more and more and more staff. That means more and more overheads. You're chasing this stream of money that's never, ever, ever going to land in your lap. Okay, so you get those structures in place. So your business has a format, has systems that you are working to. And this is not my words. You'll hear this 1,000 times from 1,000 coaches. You need to McDonaldize what you're doing. You need to systemize what you're doing. Go to McDonald's in Cardiff, go to McDonald's in Newcastle. The fries are on for 2 minutes. That is it. Okay. They ask you the same questions, don't they? They always say, would you like that as a meal, sir? Would you like that? You order small fries. Would you like large fries? You just order a burger. Would you like fries with that? They ask you the same sets of questions. Your receptionists, your barbers, whatever you're going to have to have systems to what they are doing. So systems, get your business documented. Don't open the doors and then develop your own style. Okay, you need to start off with a vision. Pricing is the most important, I think, because otherwise you're going to be going backwards for a year. And pricing tells the competition, it tells the potential client where you are situated. Okay, so forget the posh looking shop. Doesn't matter how posh the shop is, or how rough or rubbish the shop is, The price is the first signal to the client that it's at a certain level. Now, whether that price and that experience ever match up is a whole different conversation. But if you're going to do men's cuts at £40, you're going to get men, usually, I guess, in barbers, you're going to get usually men who are able to pay that price. Now, once they arrive in your business, then of course the experience has to take over. If you're going to do £3 haircuts, you're going to get people who are happier with a £3 experience. Okay, so price has to be spot on. Not in any particular order. For me, I would always have in my probably top 4 things to do, I would have retailing. Now, this is not a popular opinion, and you know that I've written the book. I'm sure I've got a copy here. Okay, so here we go. This book here, Salon Products, Sell or Die Trying. And do you know what? It's not about products. So those of you that don't believe in product selling, the book is about mindset change. It's about saying, I'm not going to accept barriers for not selling. And I believe that product selling is highly customer service related. But that mindset is also then applied to everything else in my business. Come on, you guys know, there's a few of you on here I'm coaching at the moment. If you're brave enough, stand up here, say, Carl will never, ever accept an excuse from me. He'll never accept an excuse from himself. I will never accept that there's a barrier to not achieving something. If somebody comes on here and they're in a, and they want £1 million salon, there's something that you and I can do about getting you £1 million salon. So get your structures, get your pricing, get your retailing in place, and then probably to make sure that you can make a profit, you need to make sure that your team are well trained. Okay, and I'm not just talking about that haircut. The team have to be well trained in how to generate money, rebooking properly, rebooking consistently, trading up, whatever it is. So your team need to be trained properly. At the same time, you've got these structures in place. Some of the structures you've got to pull out of there is target setting for your team. Now, if you've got a team, this is what happens all the time. And there's some people on here today who I've spoken to who have got lovely salons, not taken a massive amount of money and got really big teams. And this is a failure waiting to happen because what we're doing is we're not actually targeting each of these members of staff. And what I find is I go into some salons and they're well overmanned, okay, because they might have 10 staff and they take in some poxy amount of money, like 100,000 or something ridiculous, and they're only doing £10,000 each, but we're paying the members of staff just over £10,000 each. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. I was trying to answer your question. I would be looking at structures, which includes target setting for your staff. They must have financial goals from day one. Pricing's got to be right. And for most salons, I believe the retailing is one of the legs of a chair that you must get right in a modern day business. Okay, what we got? Shelley Ann is back on. There's no loss of commitment from us here. Just have to keep reminding ourselves that we got this, or it ends up feeling overwhelming and heavy. Do you know what, Shelley? There's definitely no commitment. There's no loss of commitment from you guys at all. The point is that you are in a process of not accepting barriers either, and I'm proud of you and the team there, because you're getting into that mode where you're realizing that whatever barriers do come up, you can overcome them. And I've seen your performance over the last few weeks, and that mindset is the thing, coupled with commitment, that's going to make you guys successful. Maria's back. Put in the time or you won't make it. It's not about the time. It's not just about the time, should I say. You know, when I was in supermarkets, we used to have we had department managers, and we would all do, when I was a department manager as well, 15, 16, 17 hours days. Honestly, no kidding. And do you know how many hours we actually worked? We worked about 8 hours. We spent all the day either chatting in meetings that never ever mattered. We spent the day in the restaurant. I don't mean the day in the restaurant, but going for multiple coffee breaks, going for lunches. And we'd also be waiting for the store manager to go home. So, because we didn't want to be seen like we weren't working. But to be honest with you, it's nothing to do with time. It was to do with how that looked and appeared. I still only did 8 or 10 hours actual work. So, especially when I was very young. As I got older, of course, I got more organized and I made sure my time counts. So it's about what you're doing with that time, and it's important that you are very, very, very well organized. I don't think you can overdo it if you're progressive, if you're going forward, if you're a positive person and you're doing the right things. So let's not start talking about work-life balance, because I don't think that exists in the beginning of running a business. I think it should be a work balance, and you should work hard, start the success right, have everything in place, and then that allows you deservedly to claim back that life balance. Okay, what we got? Lena's, Chris. I love the idea of having an open evening a month. Never thought of that, Chris. That's because you and I haven't done your marketing plan yet. Don't get distracted, Chris. Focus on what you're doing. Lena, speak to you soon, Carl. Gotta go. No problem, but it's great to see you. Donna, thank you for joining me tonight. Tori is on board. Hi, Carl. Is the webinar still available to watch? Toria, no, it's not at the moment, but I will make either that webinar available as a recording, or I will rerun it in the next couple of weeks. I promise. Don't worry, but it's not available at this moment. Louise is back. I totally agree with marketing. I didn't have much time to market the shop as it all happened so quickly. But what I have always done is market myself as loose as I know, because I have been so successful with loyal clients. I still have an amount of clientele that would now come all the way to my shop, plus people local here. You know, some people are lucky, not lucky, I don't like that word either. Some people are fortunate that when they move from shop to shop, or when they move from mobile to salon, they've got a group of people. And in a way, you've already have built your clientele to a degree. Lou, you're an exception in this regard. But of course, you need to drive your marketing even harder now. Good evening, Sam. Thank you for joining me tonight. You're very quiet, but I haven't caught up with you for a long time. But I'm sure there'll be some functions this year that I will see you at. Cheryl, I also think you need a strong brand. You need to know what you're advertising and who you need to target. You could spend £200 on Facebook ads. Okay. But if you're not targeting the right people, it's a waste of time and money. In my opinion, it's more important to have the right bums on seats to build a successful business long term. Would I agree? Okay, so I would agree with some of this. What would I agree with? Right, let's talk about the brand. First of all, guys, you need to develop a brand. I don't think I don't think a lot of you know what a brand is. See that, but there, where's that gone? Okay, see that, but there, that and that over here. That's not a brand, okay? That's a logo, okay? You know when you got a brand by the way people talk about you when you're not there. And you can't, say, well, how do you know what they say when you're not there? But that's the true measure. If you've got lovely logos like this, but people are saying about me that I'm not very reliable, okay? That I'm not very friendly, I'm not very helpful, all those kinds of things, which none of them are true, okay? Then my brand is that. Get Carl, the business coach, who's not friendly, not helpful, okay? My brand, this is just my logo. This just demonstrates, this allows people to easily find me, easily identify me, easily mentally connect with me. Trust me, I can go anywhere in the UK with this logo and people know who I am straight away. So first of all, make sure you know what a brand is before you start branding. And I'm not talking to you, Cheryl, I'm just talking about all of you. Branding is what people say about you when you're not there. So if you've got a beautiful shop but the windows are dirty, okay, then they're going to be saying, look, it's a nice shop, but it's not very clean. And if it's not very clean on the outside, it's not very clean on the inside. And they could be well wrong, guys. But your branding is saying, I don't care. So, secondly, I agree. You must go for your target audience. And your target audience, you've got to identify. I'm not going to talk about how to identify them tonight, although that would be a good one for next week. The important thing with clients is you have the right ones, because once you've got the right ones in your chair, they will be more loyal. And I'm not big on loyalty in the sense that I don't think it greatly exists. But once you've got the right people in the chair, they're less likely to leave you. They're going to have the money that's appropriate for your type of salon. So targeting the right people is much more important than filling your salon full of all types of people that are going to come and go and leave and are going to be looking for the discounts and all that sort of stuff. So, Cheryl, I completely agree with you. I want to say something. I want to break away here. I had a phone call. I haven't seen her on here yet. I had a phone call from someone, I think it was on Friday. It was about, sorry, I don't know what day it was. I think it was Joanne. Joanne, if you're on here, put your hand up, unless you're embarrassed by me saying this. I had a phone call on Friday. It was about 5 o'clock, no number. And this person I have never met in my life, and I've never exchanged, coaching tips or anything at all. And she phoned me up, and she basically said, Carl, thank you for all this information that you provide for us. You're a really good person. You're a really nice coach. But that wasn't the bit I wanted to tell you. I knew I was a nice person and a good coach. The point was, she wanted to take some time out of her day. She found 5 minutes on a Friday afternoon to phone me. Okay, do you know, it's like this random act of kindness, guys. We can all do this. We can all identify people and show them some respect. We can all identify people and just take 2 minutes out of our lives to recognize them. This is someone I've never met in my life, and I hope to meet her pretty soon, to be honest with you. But she wasn't looking for me as a coach. She doesn't want me as a coach. She's got a successful business. She just wanted to say, Carl, thank you for everything you're doing. And I just wanted to take time out of my life almost randomly. That was fantastic for me. You know what I mean? And that's not about my ego. It really isn't. It's about just recognizing that people respect what you do. So look, guys, do that. Make sure you do that with your teams. Make sure you do that with other people who are contributing to your lives. And make sure you do it to your families as well. Make sure you are recognizing them. Take that 2 minutes out. I just wanted to say that. Right, what we got? Sally's on here. Carl will never accept an excuse from us. And I want it said in, Sally, I want it said in the most jovial manner, completely. I don't want to sound militant, but I do want to say that to be a success, if you stop at every barrier, if you procrastinate, if you allow everything to, and I'm not talking to you, Sally, I'm talking to everyone on the board. If you allow yourself at every little hurdle, I can't get staff, or my rent's too high, or I couldn't get training, or I can't sell products. If you've got that mindset, that's going to stop you progressing. It's going to stop your business ever getting anywhere near where it should be. That's all I'm saying. And when I'm coaching, I don't accept them because I don't want the people I'm working with to accept them either. Okay, Hannah's on board. Good evening. I need to read that book. Have you read it yet, Hannah? Yes, you do need to read it. And I'm looking forward to the feedback. And I have got the software on the way to Donna's staff as well. Louise, I'm in my 4th week and I'm getting the 2nd round of new clients booking for the next cut. I'm loving it and loving to see it grow. Look, Louise, if you want me, if you want support, you need me on the phone for 5 minutes, have a chat. If I see you at any exhibitions, we'll have a coffee. But you're doing a great job. You know the ropes. It's just important to keep an open mind on what you're doing. Oz, thank you, Carl. That was an awesome answer, and definitely take this on board. Oz, I'm not sure that would be the most structured way I would approach it with you if I was coming in to coach you, but off the top of my head, those are really important things, and none of them can be missed out. Cheryl, congratulations. Amanda's on board. Good evening, Amanda. Thank you for joining me. Maria, what you said? Sorry, I meant with regards to marketing and getting clients. It's okay, Maria. Thanks very much. Becky, you have joined me. Tom Owen is on board. Hi, Tom. Thanks again on board tonight. Listen, guys, we have got 10 minutes left, and I've got 30 comments, it says. So I'm going to continue until I get either to 9:30, or I'm going to continue till I answer these questions. But 9:30, I'll ask you for no more. If you've got big problems, guys, don't be scared to message me, inbox me. I work until midnight on a Wednesday. I'm here to help you with your problems. It's that simple. You can phone in 07931 518 642. If you want to phone in and jump ahead of this queue, you can. If you don't want to, keep those questions coming. I'm here every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. British Summer Time. I'm here to help you. It's called Quick Coach TV because I'm talking quickly, but it's not really coaching. I'm just guiding you, instructing you, trying to inspire you, just making you think about tomorrow. Wake up in the morning, go and do something different. Okay, Gillian is back. Carl, I have worked in a successful barbers and did appointments and products flew off the shelf. I'm finding where I am at the moment is proving more difficult to train the clients up for the appointments, and getting them interested in American Crew is not that easy. I'm not succeeding as I would like. Okay, Gillian, there's a number of things that could be right and be wrong there. Whilst I'm massive that we should be retailing, not every retail range is right for every salon. Maybe you haven't got the right product and that may be a discussion point. And if you, I can't remember what your prices are like, but if you've got low prices for the service and high prices for the retailing, it's not that it can't be done, it's just a bit more of a challenge. And you are right, I like the terminology. You've got to retrain all these people, because I know your competition as well, Jill. Your competition, or Gillian, your competition isn't worried about retailing, and they are just churning out different levels of work. So you're on the right tracks. You just need to reanalyze your business. I think the thoughts that you want to retrain your customers is absolutely perfect. And retailing should go along with that. Might take a little while, but don't give it too long. Okay, well, we got Lorna Cleland. Good evening, Lorna. Thank you for joining me. Becky, great retail week. Sold to every customer I've had this week. Lousy at emails, though. Okay, so Becky is going to join me, okay? A few of you are going to join me. When we go to dual broadcasting on here in the next few weeks, Becky is going to join me when we talk about retailing. Becky was one of the first people to buy my book, one of the first people to take on board the things I've said. I've never met Becky, and I've never asked her to post anything on my behalf. She's always been very, very complimentary, but she's taken on board the issues from the book and from QCTV. So yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I think I'm running QVC. So I'm going to get Becky on board here one night, and we're going to talk retail together. So we're going to push that out to you, and we'll have a good retail night over the next few weeks. Donna, I will bring it on Tuesday. Oh, that's to someone else. Okay, Sally, yes, was said in a night. I know. Chris, and I appreciate that's fine. I'm unexpected, and that's why I'm here. Great. Louise, thank you very much. Nearly 50 and only taken 35 years. You're going to be a success. You struggle with anything, you let me know. Danny is on board. Hi, Danny. Thanks for joining me tonight. Good evening. I'm super going to rewatch. Yes, guys, this show is also available. It'll get reposted usually tonight and then on Thursday night, and it goes onto YouTube by the end of the week as well. So anything on here that you've missed, you can catch it up. Okay, so that's good. Louise, I would like that Salon software advice as I'm going on broadband on the 17th. More to keep details of clients and marketing and them to know. Louise, if you want to talk about Salon software, I can't understand. I would like that Salon software advice. If you'd like Salon software advice off me, contact me separately. I don't understand the question. If I don't understand it, I can't answer it very easily. And Becky, you can't wait. Look, we've got a few people on here. Listen, I've got a few minutes left. Louise, do you want to actually clarify what you actually mean by that? I'm going to on broadband on the 17th. More to keep details of clients and marketing for them to know what's going on. So yes, you do need a software system, I think, these days to make sure that all your data is kept and it's easily acceptable. And you also have got GDPR restrictions in the UK. It's much easier than have bits of paper locked in filing cabinets. Any more questions, guys? We have got a few minutes left. Okay, Louise, I've got clients on 3 media platforms. Oh, yes. Definitely, you need to do that. I don't know why you're all over the place, but I think that's how businesses develop and grow. You have your previous businesses. You want to pull them all together. I would say you do that. What do you think about staff commission, Carl? Do they work? Wow. Is Jody on you? Jody, put your hand up if you're on you. I had a good chat today with a client. We talked about how do we get our teams motivated, and should we put a big commission system in place? And my answer was basically no, because commission systems on their own don't often work. And the reason they don't often work is because you have to start this process much earlier in your thinking. So let's say a member of staff is doing 2 times their wage. You can't introduce a commission system, because if you pay them anything out of that, you're making a loss and going backwards and going backwards. This is where I would start. If you're not doing any commission at all at the moment, I would start with a few basics. I would start with, first of all, let's pay these guys some decent money, because the reason you've got to pay them a decent rate. So if the minimum wage is £8, look, pay them, every business is different. Maybe you pay them £8, £9, £10, £12. Pay them what the business can afford sensibly. Do it before they ask you for it. What I want you to think about is this. Most of the people in your business that work for you have the same issues as you, okay? They've got mortgages to pay. They've got cars, fuel bills. They've got children to pay for dinner money. They've got children to pay for not school meals, for school trips. They've got dogs to take to the vet. They've got response. So the first thing you can do is make sure that your team are getting a decent standard minimum, not a minimum wage, the minimum that you can afford for that person. And part of that's going to be how much are they generating. So let's start there. Let's give them some respect. Let's make sure that they can afford to work in the first place. Okay, because putting them on £8 an hour and giving them this magical commission figure, which is going to take them 6 months to achieve, is not going to make the next 6 months any easier for them or for you. And by the time you get it there, perhaps they've gone or perhaps you've given up on them. Right. First thing. Secondly, you need incentives. Regardless of commission, you must have incentives in place. These incentives need to be varied. They need to be multiple, and they need to be something that your staff want. You can't have an incentive that they don't want. Okay, so I don't like football, as in I'm not bothered about it. If you said to me, Carl, there's 2 tickets to go and watch this football team, I would not be bothered. I won't do any more haircuts for you. All right, I just don't want to go. If you said there's 2 tickets, okay, worth 160 quid to go and watch England and Wales play rugby in Twickenham, I'd be like, let's do this. All right, so you first of all, you get the incentives right. You get the things that they want. What motivates them? And something motivates everyone, guys. Everyone in the world, no matter how boring they are, how dour they are, how miserable they are, everyone in this world wants something. Okay, so they desire something. It's just natural. So find out what that something is. It might not be that. It might be that they don't like working. Maybe you just say, hit your target, I'll give you an extra day off paid. Okay, maybe they hate working so much, you can say, hit this target, I'll give you a week off paid. Work it out, work out the figures. So incentives, and they have to be what the client, not the client, you have to be what the member of staff wants. You need to vary those incentives. Some of them need to be small. Hit this target, get a bottle of wine. Okay, if they don't like alcohol, don't give them a bottle of wine. If they hit this target, and maybe then you do an incentive for the team. If you hit this target, we're going to have, I don't know, a weekend away at a spa centre. You know, the best spa centre in Wales. We are going to spend the weekend there, all expenses paid if you hit this target. So you need good wages, then you need incentives. Because even if you've got commission isn't enough to keep people thriving and buzzing and talking positively day in, day out. Commission, there's one of 2 ways. There's 3 ways. I'll tell you 2 because the third one, you need to know about that business. I'll tell you about 2 systems that generally can work quite happily and nicely. First of all is that you pay them a percentage of what they're taking, in the sense that you pay them 33% of their take-ins or the minimum wage. Okay, so if they hit their target, then they get 33% of that. If the target is basically anything above the minimum wage. And then you can scale that. You could have 33%, 34%, 35%, 36%. I've seen that work really well, but a lot of that really depends on the retail performance of the business as well. So you just do that. You say your minimum wage is £8 an hour, but if you hit, but I will pay you over that 33% of everything you take if it's higher than the minimum wage, or 34% or 35%. What I have seen in some very, very high street brands, there's high street brands that use this system, which is I pay 30 or 40% of everything after 4 times your wage. So let's someone's on £10 an hour. If they take £40 an hour, okay, they then get 30 or 40% of everything after that. All right. So again, if you've got a high price point business, that's much easier to achieve than if you've got a very low price point business. So that's the 2 things I would look at. Go over 4 times your wage, give them a massive chunk of what they take after that, or give them 33, 34, 35% as a wage of what they've taken once they've gone past their minimum wage. Both of those work okay. I don't think, generally speaking, that commission systems are the be all and end all. I think there's so much more that we can do to motivate our teams. Okay, guys, we're coming up to 9:30. Don't drop any more questions. I can see people are dropping off the board. They're all going to bed or going to sleep. Louise, best software system? I can't say. There's 1,000,001. I'll inbox you with my opinion maybe after the show, but it is just an opinion. Seriously, I would just jump onto my Salon Help coaching group. I'm sure you must be on there by now. Go to the coaching group and please put that on there. Say, please tell me Yeah, it's a private group, by the way, if you're not on that. And just say, please, can I have some opinions and why? And explain a little bit about your business. Otherwise, you're going to have the guys on there from the barbers as well, trying to sell you their barbershop stuff. Okay, Danny, say 10% on retail. No percentage on retail. Zero, zilch, nothing. Nada, nothing on retail. Okay? We do not give retail a percentage at all. Number one reason, they should not be selling retail so that they can gain 10% of a product. Secondly, it rarely ever works because a £10 product means they get £1 and they're thinking, that's just £1. Okay, I can't even get a quarter of a cup of coffee on the way home through Costa's, or a third of a cup of coffee. Okay, and even though you are smart and you can work out, well, I'm going to sell 500 products a month, well, not that many perhaps, but a couple of hundred products a month, and that's a couple of £100. They won't engage with that. So first of all, they won't engage with it. Secondly, I don't want people selling products to customers for the motivation of having money. Okay, I don't want you to sell a dandruff shampoo to someone who hasn't got dandruff. Are you with me? So nothing on products. However, I do believe there are systems for products, and you can ask me again next week so we keep this alive. How do I motivate people to sell products? You come back on your next week, Danny, and say to me, how do I motivate people to sell products? I'll help you with that. Jane has just joined me. Jane, we're going shortly, but you will be able to get this on replay. Cheryl, great advice on commission wages. Really helpful. Thank you. Phil Townsend, good evening, sir. We didn't connect. We did connect today, but we haven't set another date. Let's set a date soon. Danny, how would you go about asking for this information from the team? How would you ask them? What do you mean ask them from the team? Oh, you mean the incentives? I would just say to them, I want to set an incentive scheme up. What do you like? What do you love? Do you like cinemas? Do you like going on rowing boats? Do you want to go to matches? Do you want tickets for pop concerts? Do you like champagne? Do you like beer? What would make you happier? What would make you feel as if I were respecting you? What kind of items? What kind of experiences? Do you want to all go out for dinner? Do you all want to go to a nightclub? Do you all want to go to the most poshest hotel in Britain? Do you all want to go to a racing track and drive Ferraris for 6 hours? Do you want to go on a mini cruise up and down the channel for Christmas? Okay? Just ask them, but make it sound as if you are trying to understand how you can reward them. Okay? And it's important. I want to reward you guys. What would make you switch on? Okay, what we got? Ellie, thank you, Carl. Ellie, you are coming on here as well. We need to talk. I want you on the screen. I want you dual broadcasting with me soon. Gillian, inbox me, Gillian. Thank you, Danny. No problem. Susan Stock. Good evening, Susan. You've caught me right at the end. I don't know how much you're going to learn. I'm sure we'll have a great chat soon. And Jane O'Connor says, thank you, Chris Finch. It's a bloody long list of things you want to do, Carl. Yes, Chris, I think that's a good ending on. There's a lot of things that I always want to do as a business coach, and there's a lot of things when you're running any business that there is to do when you want to keep it progressing and you want to achieve something substantial. And I think on that note, I think that's a great way to end. Please join me next week on Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. British summertime, 8:30 to 9:30. Please come here. Please bring some friends, people in our industry, of course, people who are interested in this. Please have a list of questions. If there's something you want to talk about that's really, really important, like Danny's going to talk, challenge me for retail sales next week. Send me an advance warning. That'd be even better. If not, I'll see you back here then. Okay, what else we got? Phil says, it's always a long... Okay, thanks for the advice. No problem. Jane, writing down notes, Carl. You motivate me. Love your live Q&A. Need to book for 30 minutes for £10. Last night, guys, there's some people on you, before you all ditch out, what Jane is talking about. On the webinar last night, I put out an option. If anybody wants a coaching taster session, it's 30 minutes, okay? We're not going to get much done, but I'm going to give you an idea of the structure I would follow if I was video coaching you, okay? There's a £10 option. That's all you got to do is email me. There's only one rule. It has to be done this month. You You have to pay and do it in February. I'm just going to give you 30 minutes of my time and say to you, you explain the business, you explain your problems. I'm going to give you a structure how I suggest you tackle it. Okay, great. That's all done. Thank you all and good night.